We're here to talk about the Master of Art and the Graduate Certificate in Tourism Management. With me this morning, I have Dr. Rebecca Wilson-Mah, myself, Nancy, I'm an education specialist. We have our graduate, Anu Metso. She's joining from Switzerland. And we have some students with us, Amy, Joel, and Anjali. So I'll come back to them in a few minutes to introduce themselves and tell you more about their experience at Railroad. First of all, we'd like to acknowledge the land that we work and study and live on. So the traditional lands for railroads are known as the Kasapsan and the Lakwagan ancestor and family, the Esquimalt and Sunhi nations. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, staff, and faculty come together. Ashkasiam, thank you so much. Feel free to acknowledge the land that you're joining on this morning. The agenda for today. So we'll talk about railroads, we'll do an overview of the program, we'll hear from our guests, we'll talk about the application process and requirement, and we welcome your questions throughout the presentation. We have two key members of my team here today. We have Francisco Levy, that will be helping you in the chat, doing the tech support, letting people in and out of the room. We also have Alana, that is our enrollment advisor. So Alana will be posting a few links in the chat for you to answer any question you might have. So we have, as I said, a full crew of people ready to introduce themselves, talk about Railroad, answer any question you might have. So why Railroad University? First, we see life as a qualification. That means that what you have done before coming to the university really counts for us. So we see your volunteer work, your other institution, academic as really part of yourself. Prof who know your name, very important for us. So in our programs, you always learn from your peers, but you learn as well from your instructors. So you have kind of that side-by-side journey with all instructors that sometimes, most of the time, will be people from the industry that we can learn and discuss so many topics with. Learning based on life. Again, you can be working, the university is open for working professionals. So many people will bring the challenges and what they face in their workplace into the classroom to create some great discussion. Connection for life, we hear the story all the time that people meet people in their cohort and they will have those connections for many, many years. Some people still come on campus after a few years altogether. People connect on LinkedIn and sometimes they even exchange job opportunities. So there's really connection here that you will make that will be useful throughout your career. We were built differently. That means that since day one, more than 25 years ago, university was created to be fully online or blended models. What that means is that we didn't have to pivot to an online model recently as other institutions. It's really at the core of the university that we teach and learn online, which make it pretty unique. Here is some beautiful pictures of Railroad. So I know some programs are online. Here we have the chance with tourism management to have classes on campus. So you will have a chance to see the beautiful Hatley Castle and maybe use the reaction button if some of you have come on campus before. So Hatley Castle, I would say it's one of the most iconic buildings on campus. It was built in 1908 as a retirement house. And that castle is facing the lagoon, the Esquimalt Lagoon, which is a beautiful place that you can go for a walk, have a picnic, or have a team meeting. On the top right, you can see the Japanese garden, which is very famous as well. At Railroads, we have 565 acres of land, so many, many gardens to enjoy. Sherman Gen building at the bottom left is one of our newest buildings. It has been renovated. This is where my office is. This is where tourism and hospitality team is. Beautiful space to learn, surrounded by forest. There's a lot of light coming in. We have some lab as well for the people that study environment. And on the bottom right, as I mentioned, online learning for 25 years. So this is something we're used to do. And we have a lot of programs and application to help you through the journey online. Railroad University is a changemaker campus. So we're part of Ashoka U, which really has a focus on entrepreneur, innovation, and we really want to create a better world for all. It's one of the mission of Ashoka. So I invite you maybe to go on their website to learn more. And here I can pass it to Rebecca for more information on the program.
All right, thank you very much. So hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak to you about the MATM. I'd like to thank you for tuning in today. I'm going to share with you kind of a high-level overview of the program, but I do want to emphasize that our admissions team are here to support you with specific questions. You're also welcome to use the chat to add some questions, and just know that we're here to answer your questions after this particular webinar. Thank you. So we have two delivery models or two program options for you with the MATM. Our on-campus program is on-campus, as mentioned. It does have some online components. We have core courses that I'll show you in a moment, and then many elective options. We also have a graduate certificate, and we have a grad from our graduate certificate in tourism management here to chat with you today. And that is a 9-credit 3-course certificate option that many people enjoy because it helps connect their other education to tourism, or perhaps they're currently working in the tourism industry and they'd like to take specific courses with us. So we have those two options. And let's talk about our on-campus program. So we have 3 intakes, so meaning you can apply for this program and join us at 3 different times in the year: April, August, and December, which makes it very flexible. Our program is approximately 18 to 20 months. I do want to emphasize that that's the typical time it takes to take the program, but you can extend a little bit longer if you wish. We have field study components. So we have a field school course that will be starting very, very soon. And that gives you either a Canadian or international experience. It's an elective and a choice, but a really exciting option to take your studies to other contexts, other places. And the focus for that is responsible tourism. We have 3 completion options for our master's degree. And so these completion options happen when you've completed your core courses, and that's why we speak to them as completion options. They're where you go towards the end of your program. You have an opportunity to engage in research and take the thesis option, which is a 12 credit, very focused opportunity to conduct research with the support of a faculty advisor. You can also complete a 9-credit major research project that has a few more options. And again, you have a faculty advisor that works directly with you for your research. You can also complete your MATM by taking a capstone course and other courses rather than a research option. And that capstone course is focused on consulting skills and visualizing your analysis and consulting capabilities. Thank you. So next slide, Nancy, thanks.
Thank you. My computer says it's too early. It doesn't want
oh,
to
right.
my slide anymore.
You like this slide.
There
we go. Thank you. So let's take a look at the graduate certificate for a moment. I mentioned that that is a 9-credit course. And we have many people take this option. Again, at 3 annual entries, April, August, and December. The interesting piece to the graduate certificate is that you can customize this certificate, and you can choose any 3 courses to create your own certificate, which gives it, of course, a lot of flexibility, really focused on your needs. Our options for the graduate certificate, some of our courses are on campus, some of them are online. And so you can also blend those two delivery approaches as well. And the GC ladders into the MA. So when you've completed those 9 credits, you can transfer those 9 credits into an MA in tourism management, should you wish to do that. So let's take a look at some of the courses. So we have on the left-hand side, we've got our tourism core courses. and those are listed there: critical perspectives on global tourism, research methodology. You can see all those on the left. And then on the right-hand side, we've got our tourism elective courses. So that gives you an idea on one slide on the curriculum that we offer in our MATM. Okay. So let's take a look at the options that I just shared. I spoke to these, but this kind of is a summary of the completion options: thesis, major research project, and capstone. So you can see combined, you're looking at 18 credits to complete your MATM, and this shows you how the completion options work with respect to credits assigned. All right, I thought I'd just share a couple of examples of projects that students have undertaken as part of that. This is a major research project, research completed by Daniel Bernardes, and he completed a study of tourism adaptation amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, very topical. I also have another example here. This is researchers, you see, Deepa Sudami, and she completed a study of the environmental impacts of cruise ships along the coastal areas of Vancouver Island, BC. What we like to do with our research projects is ensure that your advisor is someone who brings expertise with advising, but also some topic expertise. And so in this case, you can see the research supervisor was Dr. Claire Whedon, and Dr. Claire Whedon specializes in research on ethics and also the cruise industry, and she's located at Brighton University. So she was the supervisor for Deepa. We offer also specializations for our MATM. We've really focused with our curriculum to give you many options to create an MATM experience that really suits your needs and your interests and professional goals. And so we've introduced specializations. These specializations are two courses that you choose to complete actually from other schools. And so I'll just share those specializations in a moment. So we have three. We have sustainability, and there are two courses that out of three that you can complete. The three courses are on the right in those arrows. So you can see here there are three choices, and you can choose two of those choices to complete a specialization in sustainability for your master's program. Similarly, we have social entrepreneurship, and the two options for those courses again are on the right in the arrows, and then also disaster and emergency management, and the two options again are on the right in the arrows. So what is I see as a real asset to these specializations, as I mentioned previously, is that these courses are offered by specialists in these fields. And so it gives you an opportunity to be studying with students who are from other disciplines. And in having that opportunity, of course, it's a chance to think about things from an interdisciplinary perspective, and to really gain expertise in these very specialized areas. So I'd like to share just a few stories about some of our faculty. So here are their shining faces, and you'll see I'm just going to actually speak about the first three people on the top line there. Top left-hand corner, we have Catherine Evans. So Catherine Evans teaches just strategic tourism marketing, and she runs her own company called Tours of Exploration. And that company offers unique soft adventure tours around the world. So she brings that expertise to the course. And of course, when she's speaking about digital marketing, for example, or strategic tourism marketing, she's also thinking about that for her own business. The next person I'd like to speak to is Kathy McRae. So she's the next person on there. She's the executive director of the Commercial Bear Viewing Association here in British Columbia. She's a lobbyist for the tourism sector, and she teaches a core course called Critical Perspectives in Global Tourism. And then the third person there is Val Cortez. Val Cortez has her own consulting company in leadership and intercultural communication, and she is one of our instructors in tourism leadership. So we have diverse faculty who come and share their expertise with our students, and we're most grateful to them. So everyone, what we like to do with our webinars, of course, we have information here that, you know, some of this you can perhaps access online. My job is to give you a bit of an overview and perhaps connect some of the dots, but also this webinar is an opportunity to give you information about the MATM that you perhaps wouldn't get on a website. Yeah. And so we're going to do that with a conversation. And I'm really thrilled to be joined by our internship preparation advisor, Alejandra Huerta Guerra, and she is here. Alejandra, I'm going to actually just introduce you all, and then we'll have a conversation. But Alejandra, she teaches the internship preparation course, and she also is an advisor when students are on their internship. And so we're fortunate to have Alejandra join us today. We also have a graduate from the MATM, that is Anu Metso, and Anu is joining us today. I believe you said from Switzerland, Anu, is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. I'm sorry to correct you, but I'm a graduate from a graduate certificate in tourism.
Sorry, yes, thank you so much, Anu. Yes. So Anu, this is interesting. So Anu is a student, yes, from the GC in tourism management. So Anu completed her master's in global management and then decided to take a GC with us. So that's we'll learn more about that in a moment, Anu. I think that's really interesting. And then we have three students who are currently studying with us, Amy, Joel, and Anjali. And I'll be having a conversation with them about their choices for internship in a moment. Yeah. So why don't we start? I think I'd just like to start by having a little chat with Alejandra. And Alejandra, you teach the internship preparation course for our students. Can you tell us a little bit about the intention of that course and your view on what it offers the MA in tourism management? Can I see Ale? There she is. I'm wondering if Ale may have a little bit of problem with technology.
I will make her a co-host. Sorry, I think it needs to be co-host. Now you can unmute yourself, Alejandra.
Thank you so much.
That could be useful.
Hi, Ale.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Myself connecting from the traditional lands of the Wasanic people where I live, work and play. So it's a privilege for me to connecting today from my home, whereas right now I'm connecting and working virtually for Roads. But your question, Rebecca, is what can the students expect in the internship? Well, the internship, and I like how your program head is presenting to you, right? These are completing options. There's many different ways that you can develop your career. And what I want to really reemphasize is that internship is one of those, but it's not exclusive. I think it's wonderful to have you connected to leaders in businesses currently in the jurisdictions that you're interested in Canada, because we focus a lot in BC, but there's so many other areas as well across Canada, from Alberta to Winnipeg and Ontario, as well as the East Coast, more the islands. They're looking for talented individuals. So if you are mobile and you are willing to have that opportunity to move around, I think there's a need for leaders. We've seen the pendulum move for people with the education, and they will be really looking forward. The internship does have some limitations with dates, unfortunately, a specific start date, a specific end date, but it still is a wonderful opportunity to connect with employers. I do invite students that they think about the career, not towards the end of their studies, but they give purpose with every single step and program that they pursue, you know, through academic, through their guest speakers, through their practitioners who become their associate faculty. These are great opportunities for you to gain those insights and start getting the pulse of what's important and who are the leaders and where do they gather to discuss what matters to them. The internship runs, right now we have one in the summer, and for the first year, the program head has launched as well a winter internship. So depending on when you start the program, you may have those two options to do a summer or winter internship. So yeah, I think this is something that we, Career Services, support you if you decide to pursue that completion option. There is a prerequisite course that even if you're not sure if you want to do the internship, I invite you to take it. Anu Metso was one of those students. Hi, Anu. And, you know, she just took it for gaining that general understanding of what are those career tools required in the Canadian workplace. This is especially ideal for those international students coming to Canada and looking to understand how to establish themselves here. And I do see as well that Joel is here with us, who he is a Canadian citizen. And thank you, Joel. I think he equally found the course, gave him a little bit more of a different take of skills that he has always possessed, but perhaps he needed to just twitch and just elevate them even a step further. So I think there's a lot of value if you pursue with the internship, but even if you don't pursue the internship, it's a great option, that career development. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Ali. So for everyone listening in on the call, internship is an elective option, as Alejandra mentioned, and the internship preparation is valuable for our students. Many students, well, we hear Ali encouraging students to take that internship preparation course. It doesn't have any credits assigned to it as a course, because it's just so, it can be so valuable. It's a really great way to connect with instructors like Ali and to really focus on your career development and your next steps. I'm going to turn this over now a little bit to our students. And so thank you, Ali, and invite Anu to speak to her experience in the internship preparation course. And Anu, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and how it led to where you are now and the work that you're doing?
Thank you, Rebecca, and thanks for having me. Maybe just as a brief background. So really my master's program was in global management at Royal Roads. But even during that time, whenever I had a chance to do individual assignments, I chose a topic within tourism because that was my goal and passion. I wanted to learn about that. And then I got this option to do the graduate certificate in tourism management, which was totally fantastic. And all this journey through all of the studies at RRU really changed my career and my life. What was great about the graduate certificate program is really that you can choose whatever course best fits to your needs. For instance, I took a strategic tourism marketing and transforming destinations and social entrepreneurship. And I think those provided me really good, broad perspective of the tourism industry, really. And like Alejandra mentioned, I also participated in the internship preparation course, even though I didn't do internship, but it was really useful. And I'm really grateful for Alejandra and other career advisors at RRU. Need to mention that Alejandra, for example, has long background in hospitality industry. So it was really helpful to have someone from the industry, to give good advice and also kind of give broader perspective in terms of what kind of players are there in the market, especially in BC and on Vancouver Island even. And she gave me so great tips, to connect to different persons. So that was just awesome. And regarding, I need to, commend the faculty. I really loved all of the faculty, so helpful and so knowledgeable, having lots of insights directly from the industry. At least for me, a person who comes outside from hospitality tourism industry, that was really helpful to get the basic information, the fundamental information about the industry and what opportunities there are. Yes. And what I really liked about the courses was that I think it was a great fit and balance between theory and practical applications. So in terms of readings, we had lots of different types of readings, but then lots of activities, both in team and individually. So I think the teaching methods are great to accommodate different types of learning experiences. So
thank you, Anu. Thank you so much.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, no, beautifully. Thank you.
You.
Yes, thank you for sharing your experience with us. Really appreciate that. And I'd like to ask Joel a question, actually. So Joel is joining us. Joel, if you'd like to introduce yourself and perhaps tell us a little bit about your plans for your internship and your experience in the preparation course.
Absolutely. And I did what Alejandra was talking about when I was in your shoes, like when I looked at the start of the course and trying to pick my completion plan. I thought there has to be a lot of value with doing a career development course. And, I know how to write a resume and I kind of knew how to network, but I figured I was going to learn something, and it was a good way to use my time and kind of get the most value for my time in the course. And I learned a good amount. And the story that I like to tell is how I applied at a hotel I really wanted to work for before I ever started. And I didn't even get a call back. And then when we got to the resume development section in the career development course, I completely changed my whole resume. I shrunk it down. We learned how to tailor a resume, how to target a cover letter. And then I used those skills and applied back to the same hotel for a different role. And I got hired within the week. The skills that we learned are really in tune with where the industry is at right now. So it's a valuable course, whether you're going to do the internship or not. I worked so when I got to that new hotel, I started sowing seeds to do the internship immediately. And my internship plan was to round out my resume by hitting every single, I was missing the department of sales and events in a hotel. I've done everything else, but I haven't done that. So I was looking to transition to something I had never done before, but still had all the skills. That was going very well. I think that doing these, when you have an internship, you have an excuse to talk to anybody in any position and kind of a reason to talk with them when you think about networking. So I was able to get access to the director of sales for this hotel, who runs a team of about 10 people. So they're very busy, and they listened to me and they took it seriously because there was something, there was a reason for us to be talking. And we actually got all the way to the point where we had established what the internship would look like, how it would be. And then news got out to another hotel just through the networking grapevine, as it goes, that I was applying for more of a full-time job nearing the end of my studies. And I got poached into the exact job I hoped to be doing as an internship. So it was just kind of funny how the world goes. By pursuing an internship for the job I wanted, I ended up in exactly the job that I wanted to do. It's a full success story as far as I was concerned.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. You'll be
thank you.
And I understand you'll be starting your internship soon, I think in a couple of weeks. Is that correct? I think April 25th.
I have to admit that I would be starting my internship, but because I've been offered a full-time job, I'm going to be making the most money I've ever made in my career coming up here this summer. I have elected to not do an internship. Again, going back to doing the most value for my time. I'll be taking the new event management course this summer.
Terrific. That's great, Joel. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, congratulations to you. Thank you. And I'm going to invite Anjali into the conversation as well here today. And Anjali.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
What were you looking for from an internship course? Before you went into that course, what did you feel you needed and why did you elect to take it?
Okay. Yeah, just going a little back to last year. It's exactly a year since I started the program, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to speak on it. When I looked at the course electives and I selected internship, was basically to get some experience, experience in Canada, because a substantial portion of my experience in hospitality and sales is from Marriott in India. So yeah, and then I enrolled for the internship in September. The career development course started, and I was like, and probably I'm the person who likes to plan ahead. So I was like jumping ahead, and I remember your words, and it was always, and I'm so grateful to have you had you in my first semester where everything was like, oh my God, what is this? And it was just like, trust the process. And I was jumping ahead, and that was stressing me out. But then each component of the career course sort of was knowledgeable. Also with regards to the networking assignment and the information session where we had to physically go and get a networking event done or a meeting. And I was so grateful to get a GM of a hotel in downtown. And then in December, where you're allowed to work full-time, I had the opportunity to work as in that same hotel because she wanted somebody to cover the night shift. And I was there was exposed to the night auditor position. And then at the same time, the meetings with Alejandra were like, okay, it's a certain specific, obviously a role. And I could feel myself, to be honest, getting like, oh my God, is it going to work? And my discussions with you, Rebecca, were also very insightful because it's always good to have a sounding board because to make sure I was going in the right direction, because I could be thinking something and it's always, yeah. So it was just getting, okay, I need these insights. I need these thoughts. Am I going in the correct direction? And then it was like, oh my God, like I was pulling my hair out in December end and January, because I'm thinking, oh, I see this April 11 deadline. I need to put these things on Moodle and I just don't have any option yet. Delta Victoria was one option. And then because of the job that I took up in December, that transitioned out into a front desk position. And then as it turned out now, it is a front desk supervisor as well as a tour coordinator and a group coordinator. So like my F&B sales background was one whole big component that I had. Yeah, and this is another whole experience. And also I could add, before I got the contract and before things were working out, I was beginning to think like, oh, I've completed all the 5 assignments. And in the worst case scenario, if the internship does not meet, I'll take another course. But I have learned so much from this course. No credit, keep that aside. But it has given me the knowledge. It has given me the opportunity to network. I have got your thoughts. Alejandra was really helpful and supportive, back and forth meetings. And also, yeah, so it just helped Rebecca a lot with your support as well. And eventually it turned out to be what it is. My documents are in Moodle. So it's just like, now I'm all excited to start.
You're ready to start. Thank you for sharing that, Anjali. And I just jumping from that conversation to all of you. I mean, you've all been in the situation that many people are in who are tuning in today, who are looking at, different options. They're exploring graduate programs, perhaps really thinking about the next step. And I just thought it'd be interesting to check in with each of you on perhaps any suggestions and guidance you would give the people, give everyone on the call, because you've been in that position or a similar position, right? So is there anything you'd like to share with our friends on the call today?
Sure, Rebecca, I could.
Go ahead, Anjali.
Yeah, I mean, with regards to the start of the program where I was all overwhelmed, and probably till now, I just felt it's always useful to have everything like in front of you in terms of a schedule, because you know how to plan ahead. You know what I mean? That was one thing that really helped me, because I have everything in black and white and I can work my way forward. And I keep timelines, not deadlines, I would say, because it gives you pressure, but timelines which are practical, not pressure on yourself at the end, and be organized and always ask questions and communicate, because that's how you get the best information and adds to your own knowledge to move forward.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you. Anu, for yourself, you came into the Masters in Global Management and then into the GCTM. Any suggestions to our students who are potential students who are looking at this MATM program and other programs, perhaps?
I share Anjali's tip to be very organized, because at least in MGM, the schedule was very tight. So yeah, that helps a lot when you are organized. I also want to go back to what I think Alejandra said in the beginning regarding the internship. It's really important that you start early on to kind of think about it and have it in the background, to think about all the possible connections you can have, so that when the internship, if you are thinking about having or doing the internship, so then it's so much easier when the time comes to actually act upon it. When you little by little do maybe industry research, or just even if you are in Victoria, so just travel around to tourism places, go visit places, talk to people. That's how you maybe build connections there and find your internship place as well. So it's really important to start early on, I think.
Thank you so much, Anu. And Joel, could you just speak to perhaps, do you see any connection between the courses that you took in your education and the internship? Well, not internship now, but the job that you just secured. How has the program prepared you for this next step?
It's a big thing to say, but the year of studies has brought out a man from inside me that I really like. And as someone who is going to, he's capable of having conversations with senior leaders in a hotel, and really anybody at a peer-to-peer level, kind of shaking away from the insecurities of being younger and unsure, because when you spend a year getting your brain filled with high level, that's not high level, but broad concepts, you start to gain that understanding of how a lot of the pieces of the world work. And especially framing in the internship prep, like I have to tell you, going to our networking event, I looked around at a group of 20 adults who were all feeling the same way I was, kind of a little bit nervous, a little bit unsure, and it's everywhere. And that's to that extent, we're all the same, whether we're owning a company or we're just students. And I think my piece of advice would be to know that when you walk out of your program, you're going to want to get out and change the world or do something that you've never done before. And you're going to have the skills and mindset to do it. So the studies are, they come hard and fast in the first term. But by the second term, if you're working your 20 hours a week and you're spending your 20 to 30 hours on school, you still have time to think about what you're going to be doing on the other side once you graduate. And that, holding a vision for what you want that to be at the end, is going to just serve you so well, because then at the end of your program, you won't be wondering what to do next. And keep an open mind to what you can achieve. Like, I was inspired by the story of a grad. When I first started in my first term, I attended a webinar of someone who acquired an internship with the United Nations. And I always, it's not quite a regret, but I will say, I wonder if I had held that sort of vision in my head, I'm sure that I could have accomplished something on that level as well. So don't limit yourself.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. I'd like to now open the conversation to anyone on the call that might like to ask our guests a question. I take a look in the chat, but you're welcome to.
Yeah, I think, Rebecca, in the chat, we have a good question too about how people balance your life, maybe children, maybe other passion with school. So.
Oh, thank you, Nancy.
Yeah.
Would anyone like to take that one on? How to balance school with, and this is specifically if you have children, Nancy?
It can be, yeah, I know I get that a lot from prospect. People
Yes.
are like, oh, like, how will I do? Or how many hours should I plan per week? So if someone just wants to give us some advice, yeah.
It's probably bad advice, but it was what I did and I survived. Is just short-term pain for long-term gain and a little bit of grit. I worked 3 jobs in my first term, which was too much. So then I just took it down to 2 jobs for the second. And I'll tell you, it's possible if you want it bad enough. And
yes, good advice, Joel. A bit of grit can be very helpful indeed. Thank you.
Can I comment?
Yes, of course, Anu, over to you.
Yes, yeah, I have family, but for me, I intentionally, I wanted to know my limits and be within my limits. I didn't work at all. Studying was my job. And I think that was the right decision for me, at least, and for our family, because then I really could concentrate on the studies and really put efforts and, hours on it. So.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And Anu, if you don't mind, could you say it loud? What's your background and where you work now? I saw it in the chat, but some people will watch the recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my background is in management consulting in the energy and infrastructure industry. Totally changed my career. I want to do something else, and this was my passion to enter tourism hospitality industry from some angle. And the big question for me was, what's out there? what are the organizations? How does it, how does the industry work from the professional point of view? Because I've also only been like a customer to hospitality tourism industry earlier. So it was really helpful. I mean, all the research that I made for different assignments and the graduate certificate program, to take that opportunity to do industry research broadly. And I, studied very different topics, all the way from, how to turn, private estate into a national park and, for, tourism visitation, to comparing profitability of hotels. So very broadly, yes.
And what is your role what's your role right now, Anu? What is your job?
Yes, I'm a project manager currently at the EHL, as I wrote in the chat. So maybe the connection there to my background was that, I've been doing like project management for years. So I could build on that strength, but in a new environment, which of course has helped me a lot in this new job.
Yes, so transferring those skills that you had.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
And the internship preparation really helps you with that, and talking to the career advisors to really know your strengths and weaknesses, and really identifying your, transferable skills, for example.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I heard you, Joel, speak a little bit to transformation, and you didn't use this word, but I think about confidence, right? Transformation and confidence, and really believing in yourself and knowing that you can apply for that job. In the one you mentioned, Joel, if you wanted to work for the UN, make that a goal and figure out all the things you need to do to position yourself to have a possibility of getting an interview for that kind of job. So I've heard a lot from from you all today about that confidence building and the support that the internship preparation course gives each student to really engage in those activities that help you build your network and present your resume and yourself fully. So, you know, I really appreciate all of you joining and sharing that background with our prospective students on the call so that they can have that firsthand insight into the internship elective and all that can mean for a student here at Royal Roads and the career and learning development that the university provides. So I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much. And I'm going to now pass the baton back to my colleague Nancy. And again, thank you so much for the conversation, Ale, Anu, Anjali, and Joelle. Really appreciate it.
So inspiring. Yeah, I just want to hear about it more and more all day. So I had a few questions planned, but I guess we have covered them, which is great. Now that we have so many people are asking questions in the chat, thank you for that. We'll make sure to go one by one, and maybe at the end of the webinar, if you have anything specific, you'll be invited to stay on and you can ask specific question as well. So how to apply at Royal Roads? We have two types of admissions. So all this information is on the website for sure, but here it's a little bit like in a summary. So standard admission, we ask you to have completion of a 4-year or comparable undergrad degree in a related field with a GPA of B, which is about 3, from a recognized post-secondary institution. We ask you to have at least 2 years of full-time work experience within the tourism and hospitality industry, or a satisfactory or pass grade for industry-related internship or co-op, which is about 6 months. We have a little note at the bottom about academic writing skill. Of course, this is graduate level, so we ask you to have a nice writing and academic thinking. And maybe some of you are like many of our students that haven't been to school for many years. Some people haven't been in school for 10, 15 years. So the academic writing and critical thinking course that we offer at Royal Roads with professional and continuing studies is very helpful to set you up for success for your program. So this is something you can take that we recommend that you take in advance of apply. You can apply to your program, but you can do that course in between as a preparation course. And if you don't get, that's a question we get all the time. If you're not in that standard admission, then we can move with flexible admission. And this is not something that you have to check when you apply at Royal Roads. This is something our team of advisors will look at your profile, look at your documents, and will say, oh, that person can go in with a standard admission, or this person will need to provide a few more documents. So if you didn't have what we require for standard, then with flexible, you can apply with no post-secondary education, but we ask you to have 7 years of progressive work experience, 3 of them being in a leadership role. And applicants who have completed some post-secondary education will be adjudicated on a case-by-case basis, with greater emphasis placed on the quality and years of work experience. So maybe Rebecca, if you want to add to this, but in summary, I think everybody is welcome to apply when you have a specific background, because you're still applying to a graduate level. So we want people to have a certain level, but it's not just about your grade, it's about who you are.
Yes, absolutely, Nancy. Yes.
Perfect. And here, how to apply. Some simple steps for everybody. You go online on the website, you start your online application, you pay a little fee of $128.81, and then you get your application ID and you start submitting your documents. I know I saw in the chat earlier some people joining from abroad, from outside Canada. So your time would be about 4 to 6 months to get your application all together. So we always encourage people to just start your application now if you're ready, even if you're looking for maybe August or December. If you're looking for a later intake, you can still start your application now. And what does that mean? The supporting documents, your official transcript from any post-secondary education will need to come to us. That can be by email or mail. That will be from institution to institution. So you have to work on that to ask your institution to send it to Royal Roads. Then we ask a detailed resume. to tell us about who you are, your volunteer experience, your work experience, academic one, a little bit like Joelle mentioned, like really building a resume that is strong and that really sell what you have done in your career so far. Personal statement of intent. That was my favorite when I applied to Royal Roads, because you really sit with your piece of paper and you're like, okay, why I want to be part of that program? Why should they take me? What's my past, my present, and where do I want to see myself, for example, in 5 years? And we ask for 2 letters of reference. We often say 1 academic, 1 professional. So people that have worked with you, know you from maybe a school, that can tell us a bit more about yourself. Anything to add, Rebecca, on this one?
No, thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Perfect. And then the upcoming intakes, I saw some question in the chat again. So the next one will be August. So you can start your application now, and the deadline being May 15. And we have the online, that is TBA. Some people were asking that. Eugene kindly said that we might have an online intake for 2023. So let's stay tuned and look at the website for that. And we have also another on-campus intake starting in December. So for people coming from abroad internationally, that might be an intake that is useful for you, because that gives you enough months to start working on your application. And here, financial aid, a very important component of going back to school. We know that, we acknowledge that. So you can maybe take a print screen or a picture of that slide and make sure to connect with our financial aid team. They're amazing. They will let you know about external loans, internal loans, any support you can get to go back to school, depending on the research as well you want to do. So very an important component here. And finally, the enrollment services. We have Alana with us today that have been posting so many helpful links. So thank you, Alana. If you have more questions and you are what we call domestic, you can email learn.more@royalroads.ca. And if you're coming from another country, you can use the learn.more.international@royalroads.ca. And if you're ready to connect more right now, you can just use your phone and scan that QR code to be directly in touch with one of our team members. So again, thank you, everyone. We have our famous peacock here. I guess Anu or the student can relate to those peacocks that we see everywhere on campus. And thank you, yes, so much for the very rich conversation we had today. I don't know, Rebecca, if you want to have some final words here.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Thanks, everyone. It was a pleasure to have this time with you. Thank you so much for your interest in Royal Roads University. We know that there are many different graduate programs around the world, and we expect that you're doing your research and looking at different options. And we really appreciate your consideration of our Masters in Tourism Management here at Royal Roads University in Victoria, Canada. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll stay on the call if anyone would like to grab the mic or stay in the chat. I think we'll probably stop recording, but we'll be here to answer your questions. So please feel free. And a big thank you again to our guests. Thank you so much for joining us.